after his departure, all the internet is filled with how kind, compassionate, uh, uh, merciful. Everyone who speaks with Guru Maharaj, they he make them feel that they are the most important person in the whole world. In the whole world. Personally, I feel like, July 4th, not only me, hundreds and thousands of devotees all over the world. July 4th is a life-changing day. Some part of me means many bad things died, rejuvenated, thinking about Guru Maharaj every throughout the day. Even when you open the phone is full of Guru Maharaj, your thoughts are full of Guru Maharaj. It's an intense separation, but with what Guru Maharaj did, he is now much closer in our hearts, at least in personally, than before. I am understanding more, and my love and everything in separation, it's very, very painful. I always think with doctor's eyes, like, we could have done this, we could have done that. I'm not the part of the doctor's team, but like, why he came to US, these questions keep coming into my mind. But at the same time, it's all Krishna's plan and Prabhupada's plan. I personally, I'm really blessed. We are all really blessed that such a personality who in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Brahmanda Brahmatekon, like, traveling material world, time, unlimited times of janmas. It's such a rare opportunity to meet such a top notch acharya. In this lifetime, it's full of gratitude, blessing, mercy by Krishna, Srila Prabhupada. And he showed us I think the two big lessons always be loyal to ISKCON, and also always, before giving initiation, he told us, Srila Prabhupada is your guru. I will take you to Srila Prabhupada, and he will take you to Krishna. So those are the two constant teachings. He keep on saying. So there is a lot to talk about Guru Maharaj, but in that interest of time, I want to be short. And also, personally, I know him only for a few years, but in these few years, he showed me like so much love, affection. We recently had a 2-month-old baby girl, and he named that baby girl also. Guru Maharaj is so busy, but even he as I said before, he makes you feel like you are the most important person in the whole world. And he named her Radhe Dulari. Was such a insignificant person. Still, he gave that much love and mercy to to all of us. So I am eternally grateful, and the responsibility now, the responsibility on all of the devotees to stay cooperated together and to serve the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and to be loyal to ISKCON, and to be loyal to Srila Prabhupada. So his life story is a perfect example for everyone to you know, to idealize. So thank you so much for all of your time, all the time, and um, Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. All glories to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. All glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity.
So thank you, Prasanna Prabhu. Thank you, Prasanna Prabhu. I want to just introduce Prasanna Prabhu a little more. So Prasanna Prabhu is a doctor. I think he's right now lives in Nebraska. He runs a Bhakti Ruksha. And he used to study in Pittsburgh medicine. He's a super specialty doctor kind of thing. I think he studies neurology. I forgot the exact details. And the amazing thing about Prasanna Prabhu is that he used to read Srimad Bhagavatam for 10 hours a day or something like that. Maybe a few years ago. He's told me one day, I keep my big medical books and in the middle I keep the ISKCON book and just read it. And all the people in the university are thinking I'm reading medical books, but I'm really reading Bhagavatam for 10 hours a day or something like that. A few years ago, he told me this.
Thank you, Sudhakar Prabhu. It's all actually the reason I am reading Bhagavatam is, you know, if you remember 2017 Festival of Inspiration, New Brindavan, Guru Maharaj gave that, you know, actually during the retreat and also Festival of Inspiration, he gave that instruction that the Guru Dakshina is read Srimad Bhagavatam and share Srimad Bhagavatam. So Guru Maharaj is the inspiration to read Srimad Bhagavatam. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much, Prasannatma Prabhu. It was really nice hearing you glorifying Guru Maharaj. I can relate to some of the things we've been talking during this whole time, especially when Guru Maharaj was in the hospital. But it was very nice to hear. Thanks for coming down today to our channel and sharing your memories and glorification of Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
We have Surabhi, next speaker.
Hare Krishna. So I spoke a little bit yesterday, so I wanted to have my mom wanted to, she wrote a really big letter for Bhakti Charu so much, so I want her to share today.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishasa Sunyabhati Paschata Desikarine. It is extremely difficult to realize that His Holiness Charu Swami Maharaj is no more in this material world along with us. He had gone in a different mission to serve His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada in new pastimes. We are all shattered to realize that we are not going to get His association here in New Jersey. In my Krishna conscious journey, Maharaj has a lot of impact on my spiritual connection with Srila Prabhupada and my ruchi for reading Srimad Bhagavatam systematically. We all become very happy when we hear from our vicious disciples that His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj is going to visit Central New Jersey in near future. Earlier days, when we didn't have our temple, we had this mobile temple concept. Like we used to go to MBCC, then weekends, taking deities, and then we have home programs. So when Maharaj, it is announced that Maharaj is going to come and spend some time. So that means there are a lot of planning in advance, a lot of excitement. There are a lot of home programs, lot of sumptuous prasadam planning, cooking, specifically cooking some delicacies for Maharaj. So personally, we feel that as if our parents are visiting from India to us. So it was a feast sometimes to our eyes to watch Maharaj doing arati in our temple or in some devotee's house. And standing from a far away, watching Maharaj doing arati was, my favorite, memory for Maharaj. So before joining ISKCON, my realizations I'm going to share with you, how Maharaj has impacted my life. So before joining ISKCON, I used to read Bhagavad Puran from some Odisha literatures. Like back home, everybody we used to read. a different Bhagavad Katha from a Odia scripture, where the focus generally now we are brought up in such a way that like we have this misconception of directly plunging into the 10th canto, where directly the glorification of Krishna is there. Directly like how Krishna is born, Krishna's pastimes. We usually read that, and mostly it was in an irregular fashion. Like when the festivals are coming, like Janmashtami is coming, we directly on before day we start reading Srimad Bhagavat, the 10th cantos, and how the Krishna is born, then done. Then the book is back to the closet. Like this, it was going on in a kind of an unsystematic manner. So in one of the lectures, I attended, so Maharaj sweetly glorified how Srimad Bhagavatam and Lord Krishna are related. How Srimad Bhagavatam in this Kali Yuga, like it has appeared as Krishna himself. So when Maharaj started the lecture, he started comparing first and second canto as Krishna's lotus feet, and then he slowly went on like to Krishna's arm and everything. Then he described how Krishna's lotus face is compared to the 10th cantos. Maharaj mentioned when we glorify Krishna, we always start from his lotus feet. We don't directly go to his face. That is a proper etiquette as a Vaishnava. As a Vaishnava, like we do like that. Like we do arati, we start from his feet. Like when we glorify Krishna, we should always glorify from his like lotus feet. Maharaj sang very beautiful bhajans, very melodious. So these 2 sessions was kind of like totally captivating, and Maharaj's firm sweet voice and his bhajans were ringing in my mind for a couple of days. After those days, I started reading Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam systematically. Like Maharaj used to come and we used to listen his lectures. That time, like we didn't have this iPhone and this recording system. So mostly we used to Google it out in ISKCON registry and find something and then listen. Or if somebody forwards some nice lecture, it was going on like that. Then I had a good fortune to attend, get Maharaj Association in Atlantic City Rath Yatra. I think it was 2014 or 15. Like Maharaj has graced our Yatra, Rath Yatra in Atlantic City. In our ICNG and especially in Atlantic City, all Rath Yatras we conduct in a fast forward and unsystematic manner due to unavoidable circumstances, like cops will be there and we're commuting from far away, taking Arati Paraphandinas from a far away. Sometimes we don't take the matchbox, wicks are missing, chamber is missing, like it's not, some event, we are also new also. And like it's not properly managed also sometimes, like the cops will be around, so we'll just place the deities on the chariot and do instant arati, coconut breaking, everything done in 15-20 minutes. Then chariot pulling, yatra started. This was fashion, this was going on quite a long time. But in Puri and ISKCON Calcutta temple, it is not like that. There is a process for everything, systematic process for everything. How you break a coconut, how you take the deities, how you invite the deities, everything has a process, everything is systematic. So when Maharaj was there, my Prabhu invited Maharaj to perform arati in the beginning of the jatra. So then Maharaj looked at everything. He just looked here and there, and he asked, do you have a coconut? Do you have a camphor? And do you have flower or wicks? Then quickly we ran around, my Prabhu ran around and he arranged everything and gave Maharaj all these items what he had asked for. So Maharaj, very sweetly, in a meticulous way, he placed the camphor and the wick on the coconut and he put the flower and he fast, then he lit the camphor. Then he offered to Jagannathji with a sweet, nice pranam mantra. He did the arati of Jagannathji. After that, yatra started. I will have the scene stuck in my memory forever. Like the sun is, the radiant sun is there, Atlantic City blue ocean is there, in between that with the beautiful chariot, Jagannath is sitting, decorated with nice flowers and nice decoration with all the appliques hanging all around and all the devotees. And then our Maharaj, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, as radiant as the sun, he's standing in front of Jagannathji and he is doing arati. So there was, like it's kind of a memory, it will be a long time memory in my mind. I was trying to, after Maharaj, left his material world, I was trying to look around for this photo all around. I didn't find it. But luckily during, while, listening and searching about Maharaj and listening to all these kathas, somewhere I found from another Rath Yatra, like Maharaj holding the coconut and, doing the arati. Then I really, again, the old memories, came, that became fresh again. After that day, in our ICNJ, we are performing this Rath Yatra Arati in a similar fashion as per how Maharaj has shown it to us. That year, that Rath Yatra, I had a good fortune also to prepare dinner prasad for Maharaj as per Dattatreya Prabhu's instruction. Since Sukumari Mataji was in Bangladesh taking care of her ailing mother-in-law, so like Prabhuji has given the task to me to cook prasad for Maharaj. Since Odisha and Bengal dishes are almost similar, myself and Satyarani Mataji, we planned to cook few Odisha and Bengal dishes for Maharaj. So we prepared at we have to leave home around 9 o'clock. So we prepared everything before 9 o'clock, packed everything in the hot case and took for the yatra. Then after Maharaj's lecture, after the yatra was done and Maharaj's lecture was done, Maharaj, sat down on the floor to honor prasad. So by the time Maharaj was going to sit down to honor prasad, we felt that prasadam might be a little bit cold because it was already, 8 hours in the hot case. Still, Maharaj glorified each and every item and thanked both of us arranging prasad for him. He literally started explaining how the sukto is beautiful, how the posto is good, how the khaja is crunchy, how Jagannath definitely has written it in each and every item, how the dalma is good, and how, in Gaur Gobind Maharaj used to feed dalma, everything he shared with us. And it was so nicely, he glorified Jagannath ji along with each and every prasad. And we were humbled to see because we know that how sophisticated and great cook Maharaj is himself. And we know our standard also. Specifically, I know where do I stand. And on top of that, Maharaj sitting on the floor in front of, amidst all the devotees, and he is honoring the prasadam. So that was, we could realize how humble Maharaj is. After that, whenever Maharaj came, I always look for opportunity to prepare few delicacies for him. Like we have a typical dish like bitter gourd, stuffed bitter gourd with mustard and body, then pumpkin flowers, then poppy seed sabji, and definitely the khaja. All glories to our Sukumari Mataji for always, letting me do this menial service when Maharaj visited her house. Now I'm going to miss all these opportunities. Then later on, me and my Prabhu had a personal discussion with Maharaj. When in our ICNJ, the new temple started, our altar was getting manifested in Ujjain. So then, we went to discuss with Maharaj, how the altar and how the deities kind of thing we are going to discuss. So surprised to realize, how vast, Maharaj's knowledge is on the vision of the altar and the different aspect ratios of our deities. He was happy to know from my Prabhu that our Jagannath deities are getting carved in Odisha. He gave also him some special instruction that how to communicate with the carpenter, how to carve the deities, and what is the aspect ratio to follow and the dimensions in a scientific way so that our altar will look as per his vision, and he followed it. After our meeting also, there was a Q&A session in one of the devotee house, question answer session. So devotee was asking different questions. So one of our devotee asked, Maharaj, the devotee asked, how, you will do service and sometimes, you are not recognized by other members. How does it feel? And he is kind of not happy about it. And how to avoid it, what to do in that case. So Maharaj very sweetly explained. He asked the question to all of us, how does it feel to you when the whole world appreciates you and Krishna doesn't appreciate you? Then he took a pause and again asked, how does it feel if the whole world does not appreciate your effort and Krishna says, I'm really happy, whatever you did for me? Everybody are convinced, the sweetly and the firmly Maharaj has explained. That was kind of a lifeline for us, all of us, to realize it. But whenever difficult situations, so Maharaj, this kind of lines and the firm things, come into our mind to guide us always. Then last year, I attended Bhakti Charu Maharaj Kshetra Yatra for a few days. I had to attend one of the family commitment in Odisha. So, and I came to know that Maharaj is planning for a yatra. So my Prabhu insisted me that I go for the yatra. So I'm really thankful that I attended this yatra, though not for the long time, but for, few days. And I had also a good association of Mamta Mai Mataji. So, and since Mataji was traveling from Kolkata, I think he had quite a good amount of luggage, and there are a few other senior Matajis. And I did also some shopping in the ISKCON Bhubaneswar temple. So I was just taking care of all the luggages. And that day, Maharaj has to launch his Odia version of the book, Ocean of Mercy in ISKCON Bhubaneswar temple. So Initially, I thought, like ISKCON Bhubaneswar, whenever I have gone, it's not that crowded. I thought, yeah, might not be crowded. So even if we have the luggage, it would be okay. But, to my surprise, when I went there is not a place to sit. I did not realize that many Odia devotees we have who are Maharaj disciples. I had always a feeling, like back home in my family members, I don't see any ISKCON devotees because they are not into that much over there. But when I went over there, so many Matajis are there. And from like we have NIT Rourkela in Odisha and so many good colleges, IIT Bhubaneswar, all there. All students are there. Like there are few young girls who are chanting 12 rounds, 14 rounds. They are all come to get a glimpse of Maharaj. I was thinking that time with so many devotees, how can I get a glimpse of Maharaj? Because I always long for, Maharaj, that glance towards you. And sweetly he will nod, his head, and, he will give a smile towards you. That I always long for that. I was thinking, I maybe this time I'm not going to get, that, he's acknowledged the way he acknowledged I send the devotees, I might not get it there. Then, all of a sudden, something comes to me that I send the devotees are very special to Maharaj. That came to my mind. So definitely there should be a way that I will get, Maharaj, little bit glimpse on it. Then all of a sudden it was announced that Maharaj's flight was delayed due to the fog. Then the little bit in the crowd was dispersed. So the temple hall, we were sitting. So I have a habit of, sitting always next to Gaur Gobind Maharaj's Samadhi area and sit down over there and just, chant few rounds over there. So that day with all these luggages and all my gift items for all these goodie bags and everything for our CNJ devotees, I was just sitting in one corner, like I'm sitting in front of Maharaj and all these items are scattered along with me. And it's just kind of like kind of a full omen sitting with a lot of materials around it. I'm sitting over there. Then all of a sudden I heard, and that, Mamta Mein Mataji told me that we are going outside, Maharaj might come. That time I did not, in ICNJ when Maharaj is coming, right, I have seen devotees will be eating, sitting in front, some child will be lying on the floor, crying, all kind of different things. We don't have follow a proper etiquette how to greet a sannyasi or Maharaj when he comes. There I have learned it, whole entire congregation, entire devotees are standing outside with conch, symbols and all those things and kartal. And all of a sudden I was chanting, all of a sudden I saw everyone's promoter shouting, move, shouting. I was surprised, what happened? I just got up and I went to move from there. All of a sudden I saw that Maharaj is standing in front of me. I'm standing, I don't know what to do. I have so many Mataji's luggage along with me. So Maharaj came and paid obeisances there. He just looked at me, nodded me, acknowledged me. So I thought, yeah, the purpose I came here, I think it is successful now. I felt so happy. After that, Maharaj gave a wonderful lecture, and the hall was, it's totally full. Devotees are standing kind of in fact in a 1 feet just to have a glimpse of Maharaj. Oh. That day I realized, how much impact Maharaj has on the Odishan devotees. After the yatra, me and Mataji went to Jagannath Puri. Mamta Mein Mataji, we went to Jagannath Puri. So in Jagannath Puri, Mataji had a desire, to offer some bhoga. And we had few other Matajis, and they did not want to disclose that they are from ISKCON. They didn't want to say that their name is Mamta Mai Dasi or something like that. They didn't want to because they had a fear that, after I leave, maybe this pandas might bother them, might ask money for them, not like that. So they were a little bit, apprehensive like that. So then when we were standing on the counter, then one panda came and asked us that, looking at Mataji, he told, yeah, do you want to go for bhoga? Mataji looked at me. I told, no, we are good. Because since I am from Odisha, they were kind of, hanging on to me. Then the panda looked at me and he saw my tilak and I'm holding my chanting bit. ISKCON devotee. He looked at me. I didn't respond anything. I know Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Then he told, I know Bhakti Charu Maharaj. He's coming here. Then he told me, I know your Gotra also. Then he wrote everything over there. And later on, I came to know that there are so many pujaris and their extended families. They are, Maharaj, they have taken Diksha from Maharaj. And usually Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj does conduct yatra over there with lot of devotees. And Bhakti Charu Maharaj also started the yatra. And since Maharaj in an amicable manner is good, like gentle attitude, all these pujaris are getting attracted towards, and the sign, and they arrange prasad and everything for Maharaj all the time. That's what actually I have had. So then we had, but then, I had to leave, and I had a fear that, I am leaving because I had to catch the flight. Mataji will be all alone. But unfortunately, Mamta Mai Mataji did not get a nice accommodation. So I had my concern to few other devotees. So one of them told, don't worry, if Bhakti Charu Maharaj comes, right, once, then everything will be fine. So I heard from Mataji also, once Maharaj, arrived in Jagannath Puri, after that, Mataji's all accommodation and everything was well taken care. So that was, my all interaction with Maharaj. And one thing also, I remember I attended one program with Rajgopal Prabhu and Sojanya Mataji's house. That time, I think Maharaj was giving class in their house, and I didn't know that time who is Rajgopal Prabhu, who is Sojanya Mataji. Somebody told me there is a Maharaj program in their house, and me and Prabhu and Surabhi, we just jumped into that house just to listen, to have a association of Maharaj, listen, about, what Maharaj is saying. That is all glories about, Maharaj and his disciples. Without knowing who is the host is, we attended the program there. We took honored prasadam in their house, and also we packed also some of the sweets which Mamta Mai Mataji has prepared to our house to eat the next day. That is the power of, Bhakti Charu Maharaj and his disciples. And there in his house, there are two questions were asked. One was, to ask Maharaj, how he came to ISKCON. So Maharaj very lovingly told that Prabhupada told him that there are so many, lifetimes are there, like there are 84 million species are there. There are so many lifetime is there, you approach Krishna. Just give one lifetime towards me, to me. And I gave one lifetime. If you want also, I'm still trying. Then he told, I am also still trying, to do that, and I have no regret on it. If you want also, you can also try giving also one lifetime. So that was so, soothing, and, again, so firm. Maharaj has so firm belief in his eyes. Then the next person, some neophyte, asked, what is Charu meaning? Why Maharaj, why Prabhupada give you that name Bhakti Charu towards you? Maharaj gave a beautiful answer also to that. Maharaj told Charu means, something like, ornamental, something spiritual. So today, actually, when I was listening to different Maharaj, glorification and so many realizations of his God brothers, I came to know that Maharaj, initial name was, yesterday I came to know that his initial name was, after he took initiation, it was Gopinath. Then later on today, I heard from some different discourse that Maharaj's name was Khirchara Gopinath. So it's the more we read about Maharaj, right? It's kind of, like a fruit, like an orange. Like you peel the orange, right? More sweeter juice are coming. Initially, it's the orange, it's sweet, that it's sweet, it's beautiful, it's sweet, it's good for you. You peeled it, the orange is, after the fruit is coming. Then you peel, then squeeze it out, the more nectarian juice is coming. So Maharaj, each and every pastime is so nectarian. And then later on I researched, looked into, after Maharaj coming from Rajgopal Prabhu's house, I googled it out, what does Charu means. I wrote it down also that day. After that, what does Charu means? Actually, Charu is derived from a Sanskrit word that refers to something beautiful, graceful, and pure in a spiritual sense. The word also means who is radiant and graceful, and is often used in Ramayana for praising Lord Ram. No doubt, Prabhupada has given the best name to Maharaj, and Maharaj, embodiment of, fulfilling Prabhupada's mission through his name and through his all his, charismatic personality. He was a perfect gentleman and coming from an aristocratic family. And definitely it is our misfortune that will not have his personal association, but his instructions and his examples will leave us with us, to get us more and more close towards his philosophy, his ideas, and it will take us more close towards our Krishna conscious movement. And thank you all the devotees for giving me an opportunity to glorify Maharaj. And that is in a different way also. It will purify my senses also by, having, this 10 to 15 minutes sadhu sangha kind of thing with His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. I think someday I'll aspire to serve Srila Prabhupada in his mission. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji. Thank you very much. And thank you for us, showing Maharaj Orissa aspect, because, even I wasn't personally aware. I knew Maharaj has a lot of attraction towards Jagannath, but he has so many followers in Orissa, I wasn't aware. So thank you for letting us know. Also, thank you for reminding us about Atlantic City Ratha Yatra. I remember that particular Ratha Yatra. Actually, Maharaj, before that, 2-3 times, Maharaj wanted to come to Atlantic City Ratha Yatra, and he was working with Dattatreya Prabhu. But that particular time, then he could able to change his schedule to come specially for Ratha Yatra. And we all were very happy for that. So thank you for reminding that. So our next speaker is Arjunia Gopi Mataji. So I'll unmute you, and Mataji, if possible, please put your video.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam. Namo Vishnu Pada Krishna Prasthapita Vishnu. Swami Tinamne. Namo Vishnu Pada Krishna Prasthapita Vishnu Bhakti Charu. Swami Tinamne. Namo Vishnu Pada Krishna Prasthapita Vishnu Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamne. Namaste Saraswati Devi Kauravani Pracharane. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasita Vishta. It was very happy listening to about Maharaja's pastimes from Prem Sagar Radhika Mataji. Very beautiful pastimes of Maharaj, especially the Orissa and the Jagannath Puri pastimes. Personally, I do not have much personal interaction with His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, but I do have a lot of association, and I was just meditating on it that most of my best friends in the ICNJ congregation are actually Bhakti Charu Swami disciples, Maharaj disciples. And I derive, so many personal levels and so much of inspiration from the disciples. So a guru, is represented by his disciples. So I would like to, mention I was mostly inspired by her Savitri Mataji. She is my role model. And also, Geeta Kirti Radhika Mataji, Saujanya Mataji, Prem Kada Mataji, Jyotiramayi Radhika Mataji. So these are all representing, Maharaj's mood. And all I have experiences are speaking with, different devotees, disciples of Maharaj, and how he interacted with them. It's actually very, I was actually amazed by, how much, Maharaj is having, so many responsibilities on a much, higher level. We all know how much he is involved in so many, projects, having disciples all over the world. But still, how much personally he would care for each and every, devotee, their concerns, however, trivial they are, however, major concerns, he would address them, with equal, attention, not dismissing anything as small or big or needing urgent. It's not, he doesn't show any preference. So as Prabhupada used to, find some small quantity in any, disciples that used to approach him in his initial days, and, spark that, fan that little spark, and, involve them, engage them, in ISKCON, and later on we have seen they have become such, valuable assets to, in Srila Prabhupada's mission. In a similar manner, Bhakti Charu Maharaj is most exemplary, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, one who represented Prabhupada in an utmost perfect way was, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So, of the multiple projects that, Maharaj has undertaken, I have seen, one project that, we have personally, our family has benefited, and I would like to mention it, that, some of the disciples have approached Maharaj asking about Gita recitation, how to get children learning shlokas and all. And Maharaj has very nicely encouraged and guided very well our Rajgopal Prabhu, Saujanya, Radhika Mataji, and Gita Kirti Mataji, and her sons. They have been learning so well Bhagavad Gita, and with their inspiration, we all know that Mataji, Saujanya Mataji, Rachit, Ramrup Prabhu, Lalita, they all benefited from learning this Gita, and at the same time after they learned, they wanted to start a similar program, and I think it's definitely Maharaj's inspiration that this project has taken shape in ISKCON. In the first time in ISKCON, this particular Gita recitation program has been started. And myself and Nitai are actually participating in that, and I'm very grateful to Maharaj for giving us this wonderful project, and we have to take it as a personal responsibility to please Maharaj. We want to do this, implement this project in a major way toward the ISKCON, so that Maharaj can take utmost pleasure. And also he also inspired Gita Kirti Mataji. Like we all know she is such professional singer, and he with his guidance he has inspired thoughts in Mataji, how to compose all the Vaishnava bhajans. The Vaishnava bhajans are like so that they can compile and make a website, so devotees can take look at that one site, and then they will be inspired and involved in singing Vaishnava bhajans and in imbibing the mood of those Vaishnava acharyas. Many projects Maharaj has done, and we are all personally benefited from those. So I really appreciated how Maharaj goes to he looks into that devotees' qualities, and how he encourages them, how he inspires them, and how he helps them develop certain projects that really yield fruitful results for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. And the other thing I wanted to share was like I was listening to Maharaj's last recorded lecture that he gave to Pandav Sena, how he was serving Srila Prabhupada with utmost care, so selflessly, and with such loving care and attention. He mentioned, he used to, many days Prabhupada did not eat, during his last days, he was in Vrindavan, he wouldn't take prasadam at all. But still, Maharaj, Bhakti Charu Maharaj would always, every day he used to cook prasadam, and he used to, he used to contemplate, maybe someday, Prabhupada will like to eat, then it will be ready. So that's how, he used to, cook every day. And one time Prabhupada asked, so why are you cooking when I'm not eating? Prabhupada, I'm just hoping that, one day you will, have some appetite. And Prabhupada, said in a breaking way that, I don't think in this lifetime I will have any, appetite. Maybe when I die, I will have my appetite. And it really broke Maharaj's heart. And when we read also, it really, gave us, such a heartache. So in the same, and then, he also mentioned about, how Prabhupada, he was getting like an Ayurvedic medicine. He was very weak and frail, and he asked them to, go to an Ayurvedic doctor, Vanamali, and get some, bring him here so that, he can give me some medicine. And it was with great difficulty, Bhakti Charu Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj has approached him, and, got some, he had to bring, actually he was much older than Prabhupada. He was very weak, he couldn't even walk, but somehow or other they convinced him to come to, Srila Prabhupada, and they gave some, a good Ayurvedic medicine, and Prabhupada actually, improved with that. And as soon as Prabhupada showed some improvement, he wanted to go on his mission again. He wanted to go to, UK, then US, and he made a plan, he made a, big itinerary. And And Maharaj, Bhakti Charu Maharaj has approached Prabhupada and, said, Prabhupada, your health is so weak. Why are you embarking on such a journey, which might put you at a risk? So then Prabhupada's answer was, a warrior actually dies in the battlefield. If I have to die, I'd rather die in the battlefield preaching. I would not, a warrior is not going to, lie down on the bed and die. He's actually in the battlefield. He's facing the challenges and he will die. So I want to go out and preach. Preaching is my mission. And I have some strength now. So I'm going to, go preach. My disciples are waiting for me, for my instructions. They need my guidance and supervision. So in a similar mood, we all were thinking when Bhakti Charu Maharaj got sick, we all were, having that great question, why he, took such a big risk. He imbibed Srila Prabhupada's mood so perfectly. In all aspects, he represented, Prabhupada so perfectly. The way he looks, the majesty, the charm that he has, the way how he speaks, the cooking, how Prabhupada used to cook. And I was hearing, some Swamis, mentioning that how Bhakti Charu Maharaj has learned personally from Srila Prabhupada all the recipes, all the Bengali recipes. So the most closest cook to Srila Prabhupada is Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So in all aspects, Maharaj completely 100% represented Srila Prabhupada. So even while leaving also, he perfectly exhibited that mood of Srila Prabhupada, and that, he wanted to live in the while preaching. He took that great risk. And while this was all going on, initially when I came to know the news that he got this illness, that he's sick and he's hospitalized, I was so sure that Maharaj would completely recover and come back normally. And I was also talking to some of the devotees, do not worry, these things have happened. I have seen in my hospital, I've seen 78-year-old doctor who got COVID, who was really sick, was intubated and all that, but he's come back and now he's working like regular. So there is every chance that Maharaj will come back, do not worry. But then day by day, looking at all those reports that they're sharing the Maharaj's updates, and it was very unbelievable that Maharaj had so many complications and so much of medical in such a good medical facility, and so many doctors, devotee doctors, have been taking care of Maharaj, but still all these things did not work. And I was really shattered listening to this and reviewing these updates of Maharaj's health. Why such such a course has happened to Maharaj, where we were expecting him to improve, and why this has happened, why Maharaj took this great risk upon himself, and to put us, all of us, in so much of anxiety. Then when Maharaj passed on that same day morning, His Holiness Ramnath Maharaj has given a a talk about remembering His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and his words actually really convinced and gave much solace to my heart. That I said, all these sickness, all these complications that have occurred to Maharaj, these are all externals. And being in mundane platform, we always look at externals, but our Vaishnava Acharyas always give us the right perspective of how to think beyond our logic. So Maharaj has rightly explained, these are all external situations. Vaishnavas, how they come, especially the pure devotees, the great saints, like His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, their appearance, their disappearance is not definitely not ordinary. And it's they decide when they appear, they decide when they leave, as per the plan of the Lord and the our dear Srila Prabhupada. So Maharaj has rightly explained, it was Srila Prabhupada's call, and Maharaj has responded to it. So knowing that it is the will of the Lord, it is a choice of Maharaj that he has taken, I completely respected, and then that really gave me a good understanding of not to grieve unnecessarily, but to understand it from a higher perspective. Definitely, Maharaj must be employed in a much greater engagement in devotional service than what he probably has here. Like we all know, common instances where a mother has a child who is sick and a child who is well. So who does the mother give a lot of attention to? Definitely to a sick child. Not that the mother doesn't like the healthy child. She mother loves the healthy child equally, but a sick child needs utmost care. So definitely there must have been a much a greater need for his services somewhere else that Krishna and Srila Prabhupada has deployed His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. I would like to, offer my repeated millions of obeisances at the lotus feet of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and try to, imbibe his mode of devotion, his mode of, perfection in the devotional services that we, take up and, serve him, by following his instructions. And in some way or other, please Maharaj, please Srila Prabhupada. And I'm really, praying that all the, disciples, we are all, with you, grieving along with you. We are also feeling, intense loss, intense separation from Maharaj as you are. We are all with you. We are all together. And Maharaj has such wonderful, wonderful disciples who are exhibiting the similar mode of Maharaj. And together, we all want to increase our commitment, our dedication in our services with one goal of, pleasing Maharaj, pleasing Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you very much, Arjuna. Thank you for reminding us that Maharaj was involved in Gita recitation, because he was has a lot of interest in that, and always whenever he used to meet devotees, he used to ask, especially kids, he used to ask how many chapters you completed, and he used to ask them to repeat the verses in front of him, and he used to encourage them. So thank you for mentioning that, as well as thank you very much for your heartfelt memories and offerings. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. The next speaker is Govardhan Bhakta Prabhu. So Govardhan Bhakta Prabhu, I'll unmute you, and if possible, please put your speaker on. Video on.
Can you able to see me, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Very good. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. So all goes to Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Prabhuji, this is really, Sunday morning, my Guru Maharaj was giving class. Every Sunday he gives class morning, where we joined. And Maharaj was glorifying Bhakti Charu Maharaj for 20-30 minutes, because we had about 40-50 devotees on the call. And Maharaj was saying that when Maharaj got sannyas, I think Maharaj got in Vrindavan, it seems, and my Guru Maharaj was present physically at that point. He was explaining how nicely he had associated with Bhakti Charu Maharaj. And, we are so fortunate, Prabhuji, I still feel we are so fortunate that day when Maharaj came to our temple. You are with him, right, Prabhuji? So, and that's we took his darshan, and Maharaj was very vibrant and jubilant, and I don't even think he was sick at that point. He was so nicely, did Jagannath Snana Yatra, and he went back, and it was like when after 4 or 5 days we heard Maharaj play, and it was like, maybe it's a very normal sickness. Maybe he would come back, but later it started coming to know it's a COVID, etc., etc. So it was like devastating, and I don't have much association but with Maharaj, but I never ever missed his classes, Central New Jersey or wherever. Maharaj was such a very clear message, because I used to, when I hear Maharaj classes, lot of questions used to be very clear, and even in fact, I used to have a very, very doubt about Paramatma realization. And I asked Maharaj, like, 5-6 weeks back when Maharaj was giving class, and he gave me a very clear answer. I was been looking for such kind of answer for so long, but Maharaj gave a very clear answer. So he's such a very well versed with Shastra, and also he's a perfect disciple for Prabhupada, perfect guru. He exhibited everything, like, and I was reading one of the Maharaja's articles. Now he's writing that Prabhupada, I have fulfilled all my duties, whatever he asked me to do it. So Maharaj was perfect disciple of Sri Prabhupada. And it's not just loss, or do the disciples lost the whole ISKCON community, whole world. Such a pure souls, if they had existed, they could have turned millions of people into a conditioned soul into this, bhakti mark. And that's the greatest loss. Maharaj is secured, and he's secured. He went to Prabhupada. He has other jobs for him, but we are the losers because of such pious souls. When they're present, we get benefited. So, somebody was asking other day, lot of devotees, when they leave body, and we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we surround with them, and we do all the chanting these things. Then why did this happen? Why it didn't happen to Maharaj? Then the question came up that. So the answer was that Maharaj doesn't need those things. We need, because we have to purify ourselves. It's not for Maharaj. Maharaj is already secured a place where he want to serve Prabhupada. I remember few of the classes from Maharaj. He said, "Hey, we are in America. Where are the Americans?" Remember that? Maharaj was so much. We have to turn most Americans into people. Maharaj desire as Prabhupada mode. Prabhupada came here to turn white devotees into. Maharaj always say, "We are in America. Where are Americans?" Okay, so these are the words I remember always. Since last week when I chant, I'm remembering Maharaj, and in tears coming. What are Krishna's plans? Why he has left us like this? Maharaj is such a great pious souls, and especially I miss Maharaj Gopi Geet, Tavakatamritam, such a nice melodious singing, and such a pure, and we don't have enough qualification to even glorify Maharaj. He's such an exalted personality, and he converted all books into Bengali in those days, right, when Prabhupada ordered him to do it. And um, and his perfect answers whenever I remember last class he gave from your home on Sunday after the Rath Yatra. I was serving in the temple night, Gaurnitai. I put Maharaj class because I never miss Bhakti. I put class, and lot of devotees are asking questions. Maharaj, how do we do sadhana? How should we proceed in bhakti? How do we this? Maharaj gave very strong. Just follow the process. Read Prabhupada books. Such a simple, but it's a strong dose. He said, follow the. So he has so much faith in Prabhupada process, what Prabhupada has given the process, and the Prabhupada books. He said, just follow the process and chant Hare Krishna. So read Prabhupada books, he said. So that's a message. It's so powerful, like a dosage for us, a medicine for us. Just read Prabhupada books daily and follow the process. Maharaj said you don't have to do anything beyond your imagination, beyond your capacity. Just follow the process and read them. That was really struck into my heart now. Such a wonder. So Maharaj, what did he do? He followed Prabhupada 100%. 100% he followed, and he became successful, and he is one of the glorious Vaishnavas. So and now in our hall, in our home that day, it was such a sad mood. Bhadrade loves Maharaj. She never misses any class, Maharaj classes. And they're like, why Krishna made these arrangements? Why? Because we are the losers, not Maharaj. Maharaj is in a secure place and he's serving Prabhupada somewhere on a different planet, but we become orphans. We need his association. So, and some few more things like Maharaj, when he comes to temple, always smiling face, never ever anymore smiling face, nicely smiling and talking to everyone, and Maharaj said every time, never ever leave it gone. Prabhupada bring this one. So these instructions, what we have to learn from these, follow the process, read Prabhupada books, and take instructions whatever Maharaj given. It's not, he's only not Maharaj to his disciples. He is the guru for everyone because he gave such a valuable instructions. Everybody can imbibe those and get our path successful. So, and again, why this happened, I still mystery for me. Maharaj was so healthy when he came. I saw him with my own eyes, but this happened. I don't know what the Krishna plans are. It takes time to digest these kind of things, but with our limited capacity and knowledge, we cannot comprehend what's going on. But Maharaj, there is definitely Krishna has plans and Prabhupada has plans for him. But for us ordinary souls like me, it's very, very hard to comprehend why this happened to Maharaj. So yeah, so this really, just devastating. Like, sometimes, we know that's what death is invited for everyone. But this is like Maharaj chosen this time. This is really, really unexpected. That's what. That's what Maharaj used to say, expect the unexpected. That's what happened. Maharaj came on from India, and I don't think anybody beyond our imagination to imagine these two things would happen. But we never know the Krishna plans were. But the only thing is, I pray at his lotus feet. Just instructions. I still remember what instructions he has given us. We have to follow the process and read Prabhupada books and have faith in holy name. So these are instructions. He followed Prabhupada 100%. Perfect guru for perfect disciple, perfect relation. So we need to follow his footsteps and take all the instructions. And again, as Junai Gopmati just said, that we are all together under Prabhupada umbrella. So all, gurus are our uncles. Like, we have one family, and the Prabhupada has all the sons here. So one family is uncle. If uncle passes away, other uncle takes care of it, other father takes care of it. So we are all under one umbrella of Srila Prabhupada. And we are all together in this journey. So we have to be, this is not just sadness or grief for the disciples, for everyone, whole ISKCON community. This is the sad news. Okay. So, but again, we have to take the instructions of Maharaj very careful, very seriously, not carefully, very seriously. Maharaj he was so sure, follow the process, read the book, you will get the result. There's no doubt on that one. So we have to take that instruction very seriously. Okay, and that's all my saying, Prabhuji. Again, I really, it's really, I know how closely you associated, and it takes time for these things. But we are all with you, and any help, anything required, please, we are here to help all of us. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Govardhan Bhakta Prabhu. Thank you very much for sharing your heart. And especially mentioning about Maharaj question and answers. It was very favorite of mine also, before actually taking initiation. That was one of the favorite thing. And Maharaj, I don't know how, but he so easily explains complex things also he used to explain. I remember in one of the initial days, somebody asked him about, how the grains, because we know the grain transfer the consciousness. Right? So somebody asked, how it is, why you are saying the grains is transfers. And I still remember the answer. So Maharaj said, okay, do you know metal? And then he said, if you have a metal rod and if you put electricity, then electricity will pass through the metal rod. And if you put a wood, what will happen? He said, like that, grain is a conductor of consciousness. And that way consciousness goes. And that's the reason we have to be very careful, where we eat, what we eat, and we should offer. Like he explained so easily to understand. So thank you for bringing that
Actually,
up.
for me, Prabhu, that question I had for so many days. We have three relations: Bhagavan, Paramatma, and the first one, Brahman realization, right? I know Brahman and Paramatma, Bhagavan. Paramatma had a doubt because Paramatma is 400 Narayana form. Why it is called partial realization? So Maharaj gave such a nice, that day I was so happy. After so long, so I got perfect answer from Maharaj. So such,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lord, okay. Hare Krishna. The next speaker is Yadunath Prabhu. So Yadunath Prabhu, I'll unmute you. And
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Panchakalpatarubhyo Kripasinduhye
Before we go, Yadunath Prabhu.
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Thank you for this opportunity, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. So before you start, just wanted to introduce you to everyone. So Yadunath Prabhu is Guru Maharaj, senior disciple for many years. He served Guru Maharaj. In many retreats, he made Guru Maharaj and all of us laugh with his different presentations. So we are really thankful, Yadunath Prabhu. You agreed and came to share your heart here. Also, most of us remember your part in Abhay Charan. So it was very nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, please go ahead. Hare
Krishna. I'll talk a little bit about Abhay Charan, but first, since it's CNJ, I just thought I'd share this very little anecdote. It was while we were working on Abhay Charan, I had the good fortune to work with Guru Maharaj personally for a short amount of time, but it was good. He came to New Jersey one time, and I was able to pick him up at the airport. There had been a snowstorm. It was very bad. There was snow and ice everywhere. We were to spend the night at Madhupati Prabhu's house. Now, perhaps, I don't think he lives there anymore, but maybe he does, I don't know. Many of you have maybe been to his house. Sometimes a street is named for its location, or something that's true about it, like a Lakeview Road, maybe because that road is near a lake, So Madhupati Prabhu lived on Serpentine Drive, right? And Serpentine Drive was very aptly named. It was this very intimidating,
Yes.
steep, narrow street that kind of came up like this, and then a very sharp turn up this way, like that. It was treacherous.
Yes.
And so we got there, and I had this little Toyota, and it was just Guru Maharaj and myself in the car, and there was snow and there was ice, and we go about halfway. We're trying to navigate that sharp turn. The car was not doing it, and the tires were just rotating. And it's like I said, Guru Maharaj, I don't know if we're going to make it up here. And he just started going, "We'll make it up. We will make it up." He said, "Hare Krishna, like along with the rhythm of the car, Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare, Hare. And we made it up. We got traction somehow, and we were able to get up that hill. So that was a wonderful memory. I did have the great opportunity to work on Abhay Charan. It was through the process of working on Abhay Charan that I met him and got to know him, and became very impressed with him. A lot of people don't know what it's like to film a television show or a movie. It's so complicated. There's so many moving parts. Guru Maharaj was in charge of everything. So he was the executive producer. Largely through the entire process, there were very few people with whom he was working that were actually professionals. Mostly it was disciples and well-wishers who had maybe some experience in doing a certain job. Mostly it was just devotees who were willing to do the seva and learn as they went. And certainly Guru Maharaj was learning what was involved as he was going along. And he would listen to his disciples who did have some experience and try to figure it out. but the production of Abhay Charan was riddled with challenges and obstacles. And it was only by his drive, his commitment to glorifying Srila Prabhupada in this way. I mean, he chose this medium strictly because he knew how popular television was. So he wanted just to take that on because this is what people are watching. Let's give them something really of value to watch. And as you all know, he was always doing something big. So this was one of those, big major services that he took on. So we were always at risk of things breaking down at any moment, but somehow he just, by his potency, was able to get us through and move us on to the next thing. We would shoot late one night, go overtime, and then we'd get into the van and then we would drive. But we didn't know where we were going to stay because things had gotten late. So, and this happened a few times where, now with respect to everybody who's on this call, I want you to know that I heard this phrase from Indian-bodied devotees, okay? I didn't make this up. They said there was always a Patel motel on the side of some back road. And we would pull in and Guru Maharaj would get out of the van and we'd see him go into the office and we'd see him talking to whatever pious Indian-bodied person was behind the counter. And several minutes later, he would come back out, like, okay, come on in. And without fail, he would charm these, I don't mean to make it sound like he was some slick businessman. It was just by his charm, by his devotion, they were willing to give up several rooms. It wasn't just one or two rooms. It was several rooms to accommodate the crew and the actors. And he would get rooms for the night and then we'd move on. The focal point, the biggest event for me during Abhay Charan was that, when I first met him, I had very, very long hair. I mean, very long hair. And Danadhar Maharaj introduced me to him at Rath Yatra in New York. And Danadhar Maharaj knew that I was an actor. So he told me, he said, well, one of my godbrothers is for Prabhupada's centennial, 100th anniversary of his appearance. He's doing this big TV series. And maybe, you could offer him some service as an actor. And I was like, okay, great. So he introduced me to him at Rath Yatra. And Guru Maharaj said, oh, very nice, very nice. Let me take your name and your phone number. And he took my name and my phone number. And just like every other producer or director that I ever gave my number and name to in New York City, I didn't hear back from him. Or so I thought. I didn't hear back from him for a year. Turns out he had been working in India. He'd been shooting in India for that year. But the following year, when he came to New York to do some shooting, he did in fact contact me. And I figured I would just be one of the hippie guys with the long hair going to see Prabhupada at 2nd Avenue in the early days. But he asked me at some point, he said, if I give you a different part, would you be willing to shave up? And you have to know that I was extremely attached to my hair. I mean, my full identity was in my hair. I had this notion of a bogus Samson, Samson and Delilah, his strength was in his hair. And I was all about the hair and the look of it and what it meant, what it represented to the 60s counterculture. I was 8 years old in 1970. So it's not like I went through that, but I was always like a hippie wannabe. So I don't remember exactly what I told him, but I remember kind of being sheepish, about it. Like, I don't know, Maharaj, I guess so. I think I probably told him something like that. but I think my thinking was like, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know how powerful he was. I probably thought it might not even get that far. You know, the whole production might not even get that far, is what I think I thought. And I kind of gave him this half-baked, yeah, probably, or something like that. So anyway, it didn't come up for a while. I had forgotten about it. We were in San Jose in California shooting some episodes. And the itinerary every day was, we'd always start off with Bhagavatam class. Guru Maharaj would give Bhagavatam class. And then he would have a meeting with us all, and he would talk about the agenda for the day, everything we were going to do, what was needed, what was going to be shot, etc., who was involved. And we were doing that. And in the middle of that meeting, I'm listening, and he said, and today is a very special day. And I said, ooh, well, who's going to be here? And he said, today, Bhakti Joe is going to shave up. And everybody went, Haribo, Haribo. And I Bhakti Joe's going to what? Yeah, it shook me. And I was like, oh, he asked me about this at some point, didn't he? And he talked a little bit about it. I don't know, I was in a panic mode. I don't remember very much of what happened immediately then. But when the meeting broke up and devotees were sort of patting me on the back and offering me encouragement, hey, congratulations, hey, way to go, you're doing the right thing, blah, blah, blah. I was panicked. And I don't remember Guru Maharaj was so loving. There's a good chance that he approached me to pat me on the back. You know, he was so warm that way. There's a good chance I went to him. I don't remember, but we met each other, and he had a big smile on his face, and my smile was not quite as big. And I said, Maharaj, about the hair, I don't know if I can do it. And he said, oh, of course you can do it. And I said, preach to me, Maharaj, preach to me. And so it's not like he just talked to me there or even took me to the side of the room and talked to me. He actually said, come. And he took me, we went to a private room with him and his assistant, and I was the three of us there. Very personal, as always, right? Very personal, very respectful that I was going through this thing. Maybe it was very simple for him. Maybe it was very simple for a lot of people. He knew it was more than that for me. So he took me aside privately. And I don't remember exactly, but my memory is he spoke to me for about 30 minutes, talking to me about taking that step, basically. And at one point he told his assistant, he said, please get me the 12th canto. So the assistant got the 12th canto, and he went to that portion immediately. He said, in Kali Yuga, a person's beauty will be judged by the length of their hair. You know? And he talked to me about that. And he calmed me down. And not only did he calm me down, although I still had fear about it, he brought me to a place where I kind of wanted to please him. So I was willing to take the step in order to please him. And I believed him. I didn't know him very well. I forget how long it had been that I'd been working with him, but I had developed a certain amount of trust in him that, yeah, this is not because he thinks it'll make his TV show better. It'll be because he believes it'll make me better. And I felt that there was value in it for me. So I said, okay, let's do it. So I think I have a minute left. So we shot this scene in the bathroom, and outside the bathroom, it was, I think, someone's bedroom. It was in a house. And actually, it was probably the San Jose Temple, which was a house. Anyway, he was watching on a monitor on a sofa or something, on the bed maybe, in the other room. And we did the scene where we cut the hair and we shaved me up, and when it was in front of the mirror in the bathroom, I'm sorry, I'm just sort of recalling this now. I remember that I didn't want to watch myself as it was happening. So we did a little bit of it on camera, but then the bulk of it, because there was a bulk of hair, the bulk of the shaving up had to be done off camera. And I didn't look at myself after I was shaved up. And the shot was like the mirror is here and I'm here. And then I look up into the mirror like this. And I said, that'll be the first time I see my head while we're filming. So even during rehearsal, I didn't look. So we did it. I looked up. So if you've seen a Bhai Charan, if you've seen that scene, the look that's on my face, that's the first time I'm actually seeing my hair. And also sometimes people ask me, was that your real hair? Yes, that was my real hair. So I'm looking and I'm reacting and we do whatever dialogue was there. And he yells, cut. And everybody's hurry bowling again. And I start walking out of the bathroom. I see Guru Maharaj walking toward me with open arms. And he says, that was my $1 million shot. And with that, he embraces me. I can feel it now. I will feel it forever. And I have such love for him, as we all do. And that moment was one of the most wonderful moments of my life, because I know that that moment pleased him so much. And I also know that it sent me on a trajectory that I am so grateful for, as I'm grateful for all of you and for this time you've given me tonight. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for telling us in detail about that $1 million shot. And I'm sure most of us will go back in Abhay Charan and see it again. So thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So the next speaker is Satyarani Mataji. Okay. So Satyarani Mataji, if possible, if you can do your video. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam all Guru Shishra Prabhupada. You can hear me?
Yes, Mataji.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving me opportunity to speak for Maharaj, His Holiness Shri Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. I'm an insignificant soul.
All the Madhubadi Prabhu's, desire and wish we are setting up all. If you don't mind, Mataji, if camera can go little down so we can see you properly, if it is okay.
What I have to do, Prabhu?
Your camera can go little down. Yeah, that's it. Yes.
This is good?
Yes, very good. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, Haribol. Literally from day one, I used to hear Maharaj. I used to hear his bhajans, his sweet voice, especially Tava Kathamritam, his compassionate nature, and these are all sweet memories for me today. This news is very shocking for me. I mean, till now, I'm in disbelief. I can't believe that this happened. I heard on Friday night, I got the message that Maharaj is not doing well. Doctors gave up and asked us, to face in any type of outcomes. Saturday morning, there was a rumor in one group. So finally, followed by there was some kind of reprimanding that please don't spread rumors. Maharaj is still with us. Till that moment, I had faith that some miracle will happen and Maharaj will stay with us. Finally, I saw Madhupati Prabhu's message in Radha Shyam Sundar and I was in shock. By mercy of Shukumari Mataji, I got some opportunities to serve Maharaj to cook for Maharaj. When Maharaj used to come to her house, um, and several times I went the day before and the time when he was honoring Prasadam. So for his cookings, we all know Maharaj was Srila Prabhupada's cook, right? So his cooking, everything, he was very particular about, especially how we cut the vegetables, what shape it has to be. Like the potatoes we are cutting for one preparation, the shape should be one type, and for other preparation, the shape should be different. And Shukumari Mataji was constantly, telling me that for Maharaj, you have to be very particular how the shape of your vegetables should be. That's how particular he was. And I remember one time when Anandini Mataji also came and she prepared kulfi, and it was, I think, February, winter time. Everybody was scolding her, chastising her. Why did you make kulfi? You should have made something else in this winter time. We don't want Maharaj to get sick. But she had the desire, so she made it. So we kept it in the freezer. And at the end, when Maharaj was done with all his, honoring prasadam, so they asked, Maharaj, we made kulfi, do you want? So Maharaj said, yeah, sure, why not? He didn't, mind. He just wanted to make, he understands our feelings. So he, just like you were mentioning, Punchanda Prabhu, yesterday, that, how Maharaj came from his hotel in that retreat and went to wish little girl happy birthday. Like that, Maharaj used to take care of each and every soul. So instead of, in spite of that cold weather, he took that kulfi, and we were like, wow. So, and one time I remember Sukumari Mataji was out of town. She was in Bangladesh, and Maharaj came to our Atlantic City Rath Yatra, and Madhupati Prabhu asked me to cook for Maharaj. I was super, super, super scared because I heard Maharaj is so particular. He was Prabhupada's cook, and I don't know anything. I can't cook for Maharaj. But somehow I prayed to Krishna, and I cooked, but I was very nervous. I didn't even go near him. I cooked everything. I gave it to Dattatreya Prabhu, and I was waiting very far how his reaction will be. So he honored the prasad and he asked Dattatreya Prabhu who cooked, and then Dattatreya Prabhu called me. I went, and then Maharaj told me, that Shuktota bhalo hoyeche. That means he meant in Bengali, he basically said is Shukto is good. That I was in tears hearing that. I didn't expect, Maharaj will call me and tell me that. I was so happy. Anytime I sing any bhajan, I always first, if it is new for me, I always try to hear how Maharaj sang that bhajan. I always like the way he sang, his pronunciation and everything so perfect. So I always hear Maharaj before singing any bhajan. In your house, Ponchanda Prabhu, first time I saw Maharaj actually, and that day after his sweet class, he sang Tava Kathamritam. I was very new, probably 1 month or so in ISKCON. But when I didn't know what does that mean, the Gopi Geet means, but I liked it so much that I came, I Googled, whatever I learned from there, I came home and immediately wrote down. I just remembered one paragraph at that time, and I was constantly singing that song because it was so sweet. After that, I got an opportunity to offer that Gopi Geet to Maharaj in his Vyas Puja. Every year he used to come, sometimes more than once, in our temple. We were so used to see him, and I can't believe that we will not see him again. It used to look so nice, him sitting with always smile and on the Vyasasan. And though I won't be able to serve him physically anymore, but I'll be remembering his instructions. he always used to say never leave ISKCON, which shows how much love he had for everybody and for especially for Srila Prabhupada. This message will be in my heart till my last breath. Also, he wants to be, he wants last, I was reading someone's message that he mentions that he wants to all of us to be an asset in ISKCON. All these sweet messages shows how much he loved ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada. When I heard from my Guru Maharaj that Maharaj, because we were so shocked with this news, that why Krishna took him in spite of all our prayers, constant chanting. His departure like this is not only a loss for us, it's a loss for the whole ISKCON world. Everybody is shocked at this news. But when the only solace for me is when I heard my Guru Maharaj that Srila Prabhupada needs him, Krishna needs him. Then I realized, when I hear from all the Vaishnavas, all the senior disciples of Prabhupada, that how the qualities of Maharaj, especially that day I was hearing Indradyumna Maharaj sharing that that's a wonderful pastime of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, that Puri Maharaj was wanted to give a mantra, and Maharaj, instead of taking mantra, he chose Indradyumna Maharaj to take that mantra, and that mantra, when Indradyumna Maharaj went to get that mantra, and he was told that it will protect you from death, and Indradyumna Maharaj was mentioning that I survived a couple of times from cancer because of that mantra. And he was also mentioning, that if it the it would have been different situation if Maharaj would have kept it with him. So how compassionate, I mean, think about it, who can do this other than His Holiness Srila Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. He was an amazing, amazing exalted Vaishnava. I never thought that I have to face this day. I never thought that I'll not see him again. But later I think that, this, he's so pure, so fresh, so exalted soul. Why should be in this, material world, in this filthy atmosphere? He should not be here suffering. He should be in the proper place with the pure Sri Krishna. So whatever Krishna wants always happens. We are also blessed by Maharaj's disciples, wonderful disciples like Sunil Shyam Prabhu, Purnachandra Prabhu, Premprada Mataji, Radha Premprada Mataji, Geeta Kirti Mataji, Savitri Mataji, Shukumari Mataji, Mamtamai Mataji. I'm so attached to each and every soul of Maharaj's disciples. As Arjunia Gopi Mataji said, we are all under the umbrella of Srila Prabhupada. So anytime, any help, we are always with you, Prabhuji. It's a loss for all of us. But we have to remember Maharaj's instructions and follow his instructions to make him happy. That's it, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you very much for touching so many aspects of Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So let me ask Madhupati Prabhu if you would like to say something or any announcements before we.
Oh, thank you very much. Wonderful offering by all the devotees. Yadunath Prabhu, thank you very much. Sorry for that serpentine road, which was like a serpent. Yeah. But somehow the holy name of the Lord, chanted by pure devotee, made it through that icy condition. Please come again, and also, because you have so much association with Maharaj, and please sign up for more slots so that we can hear more of your association. Yadunath Prabhu. It's already 9.
10 minutes to 9. So I was, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Also, since it is Gita Kirti Mataji's birthday,
Yes, sir. Mataji is there.
Yes, Prabhuji, she is here.
so we should wish her many, many happy returns of the day. May Shri Radha Shyam Sundar bestow her with their choices, blessings. And your, yeah.
Let's see, Radhika, are you there? Can you start your video, Radhika?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Do you think we all can be unmute and we all can sing for her?
Sure.
Yeah, first, we should get her because I'm not sure Mataji is there.
I can see her, Prabhuji, but I'll call her.
Yeah. I saw Radhika once. Sudhakar Krishna Prabhu, if you are there, you can tell.
Gita Kirti.
Yeah, so Mataji, Satyabai Mataji is calling her, so we'll give a minute.
We have some other announcement in the meantime. Punachanabu, we can announce.
Yes, yes, Prabhu. So we wanted to thank all of you to spending time, every evening to glorify Maharaj. So thank you so much. We have tomorrow and day after tomorrow, and there are a few slots still open. So I would humbly request all of you, please, don't think that whether you spend time with Maharaj or no, or whether you're junior or senior. I will just request only, please sign up and share about Maharaj. That's one. Also, I was thinking after this, maybe one song of Maharaj we will put, and we'll end with that. We wish to Mataji.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So, Gita Kirti, Radhika Mataji, are you there? If you can.
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm here, Prabhuji.
A weak song with her, that's okay. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Everyone can be unmute and then.
Hare Krishna to you.
Hare
Krishna to you.
Hare
Krishna to dear Kirti Mataji.
Hare
Krishna to you.
Hare
Ringo. To you. Hare Rama to you. Hare Rama, dear
Kirti Mataji.
Hare Rama to you.
Happy birthday, Gita Kirti Mataji.
We are not able to see you, Mataji.
Birthday? Yes. We cannot see you, Mataji. Yes.
Radhika.
We see you, Mataji.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, Mataji.
Happy birthday, Mataji.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Gita Kirti Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Happy birthday, Gita Kirti Mataji.
Thank you, Sudhita Mataji. Thank you.
Happy and Krishna conscious birthday, Mataji, from all of us.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Happy Krishna conscious
Thank you all. Please bless me that I can